Welcome along everyone to another live stream, and today I am going to be doing a little video on mounting a 12th scale body. Now it's a bit of a job that we love to hate, but hopefully we can help you get it done a little bit better. This is the first time I'm streaming from my GoPro, and I'm going to be using the GoPro to stream some of my racing over next weekend at the 12 scale nationals, and also I'm going to be doing a little bit of testing tomorrow at the 1066 racetrack. It's a bit of a buggy event, so hopefully we can get some insights on how I drive, how I go about crashing. I'm sure that'll be interesting for you all to see, and hopefully a evolution of the channel to bring you more content as we go forwards. So first things first, we've got the GoPro, and I'm going to stick it on my bonds. If any of you have seen me at a racetrack, I always will be recording my racing with my GoPro on my head, and the GoPro offers a feature of being able to live stream through the mobile device. So I'm going to see if I can get this for us. So bear with me while I just pop it on my head here, and hopefully I can get the right angle for us so that we can actually see what I'm doing as I go along. It's a little bit of a different take on it all, and hopefully the angle works for us. So I'm just going to let the stream catch up and get the camera position in the appropriate position. There we go. That looks like that's pretty much spot on. So what you can see in front of you is the paper, a bit of paper here, which is going to give me the opportunity to get the body shell lined up in the right way. Because one of the things of these body shells here is that we're trying to get the center of the wheel to line up with the axle, and of course these body shells aren't symmetrical, which is a bit of a blow, and it does make it a little bit irritating. So I come up with a little philosophy of getting the body shell lined up straight. If you've got any questions as I go along, feel free to ask them. Let me know where you're watching from. So first of all, this is an AMR. And again, for a lot of you, obviously you know how to do this by now, and you've seen me do it on a few of my videos, but I think doing it live, hopefully you'll appreciate. Again, just gives you more insight into how to do it. So what I do, and this process has evolved. If you look at Alex Hagberg, he's got a very nice YouTube channel. He talks his way through setting up the body shell. But so what I do, first things first, is I get myself a piece of paper here. I've drawn a line perpendicular or at 90 degrees to the edges, and then what I do is I get my Sharpie pen and I run or cut the leading edge with freehand scissors and get it all nice and square at the front. Then I just put some Sharpie along the front edge, so that when I push the body shell down, I can then line the front edge of the body shell up and know that both sides of the shell are perpendicular or parallel to that line, should I say. So then what I'm going to do is, on this shell that I've never mounted before, this is an AMR, I'm now going to take my vernier here and measure the wheel arch and just see how close they are on both sides. Yeah, and they're pretty close. So then what I'm going to do is, let's call that nuts and bolts, 42. So half of that is 21. Going to pull the vernier back into 21 here. For those of you that run 12 scale, you'll know how important mounting the shell in the right way is. It really really matters. Yeah, you can move it more forwards, give you a bit more steering, move it back, gives you less steering. I'll try and get this vernier at 21. There we go. Just the OCD in me. And then what I'm going to do, I'm just on one side, I am going to draw it from the arch. So I've drawn a line down there. And then what I'm going to do, I'm going to take the front edge of the body shell, line her up, and then I'm going to make a mark on the piece of paper and get my pen. There she is. In fact, I don't normally use a marker, I use a pen because that's not going to give me a small enough point. And then what I do, get my ruler, measure that line, and that is saying 61 mil. And go over to the other side, 61 mil. And then take the ruler and draw it across. And now when I pop the body shell on, now I can mark on this side a line. So I now know that that line there is absolutely the same as it was on the other side, so that when I line the axles up, the front is not going to be pissed. So that's now lined up both sides, so I know that when I put that on the front, when I look down, that lines up and that lines up, and I'm good to go. I'm going to do exactly the same with my AMR, seeing as I'm here. So just going to take some Sharpie, because obviously I can't see the front edge of the plastic quite as well as I can when I put some Sharpie on it. Very good. Then I'm going to measure the AMR. That wheel arch slightly smaller, 4370, so that's 2180. So take that down to 2180. Again, this is quite anal, but like all of these things, closer it is, the better it is. So now get my Sharpie. So this is as close to the center of the wheel as I can make it. And the point is, I'm trying to get it the same on both sides. So now I'm going to get my pen. Measure that point. That is 66. then draw a line across. Now I know that line again is the same both sides. Get my Sharpie. Spot on there. And then draw a line. And now when I look down, just double check them. That's lined up with there, that's lined up with there. So I now know that both of those lines are in the same point. So when I line the two axles up in a minute, I now know that I haven't mounted the body shell like this or like this, because the center of that wheel arch won't be the same as the center of that wheel arch. So now because I've just taken the left side, the center of the left side as a point, now what I want to do is make sure that that gap there is the same, that gap there, so that when I line it up with the axles and I draw the point on the front wheels, on the front shell, it's going to be nice and square. And at that point I don't really have to worry about lining the rear of the car up, because if I've got the front of the car squared up with the axles and the 2 points, I don't have to worry about making sure that the rear end of the car is nice and straight, because I hate it when the car is pissed. But I'll still probably line that up as well. So now I don't need that piece of paper anymore, so I can take that away. That was taped to my board, so that's done. Now I've got my car. Now my car is all fully set up. It's got all the tyres that I would start off with, etc, etc. I know that my steering is dead straight, and now what I can do is get myself a lipo. Push the lipo up, and at the point where the axle on the right and the axle on the left line up, I know that that's now square. That's just in the middle. So they're both pretty much in the middle. Just going to drag it forwards just a hair. That's in the middle of the axle. That's in the middle of the axle. Now as I look down the car, I just need to make sure that the gap on the right side and the left side are the same. And because I've got a lipo there, it's pretty heavy. It's not going to move. So now, as I say, because I know those axles are in the middle or at the same point away from the front of the chassis, I know that the back is going to be centered as well. Yeah, I can see that the back wheels are nicely centered up. So there's the chassis, axles, perfect. Now a dot hill on there. Dot on there. Dot on there. And a dot on there. Now at that point, normally if I was mounting a few AMRs, I would pull the next AMR out and drop it on, but of course these are two different shells, so there's not really much point in doing that. So I can take that away, and now I'm just gonna get my reamer and ream out the front of that shell. think one of the first things that when you mount a shell for the first time and it doesn't go on square, gosh, you spent so much time setting the car up, and then all of a sudden you've mounted a body shell that's not on straight. It's really going to affect how the car behaves. You know, you go around the track and arches are rubbing and all that kind of stuff. Obviously can affect the performance of the 12 scale car, so this process is as important as de-tweaking the car and all that kind of thing. So just take your time with it, no rush to do it. I think this is going to be one of the first times where I'm going to be super prepared for a 12 scale national. I'm doing everything the weekend before so that I don't have to worry about it during the week. So that's the there you go, it drops on there nicely. Perfect. That axle's lined up. That axle's lined up. Have a look at the back of the car. It's pretty central as well. Actually, it's slightly out, but it's not. Do that again. Yeah, it's a little bit pissed. I'm not completely happy with that, but not miles out. That's gone on super nicely, and that's how you mount a shell on a 12 scale car. Obviously at that point you'd then do the dots in the wheels, and then you'd use the spectacular bit of kit that Remo at Moody Falls produced to remount the wheel arches, and you are good to go. But I thought wanted to just bring you a little video on how to mount a 12 scale shell. I know I've done videos before, but hopefully that has given you again another little bit of insight on how to do it. If you've liked the video, feel free to hit the like button. It really makes a big difference to the channel. It spreads the word on what I'm doing. The revenue's starting to come in, which is great, which is going to be going into a nice big fat pot hopefully, and going to get that big race meeting going in the next year to 18 months. So keep tuning in, keep hitting the like button, smash the bell, subscribe if you're here, and I look forward to seeing you all trackside soon.